plain insubordinate versus the fallout, political and otherwise, of taking such a drastic action.
Your old newspaper, the Washington Post, with a great piece today, sort of inside the West Wing, talking about now how General Kelly has really brought order back into the West Wing and has a much different discipline and a much different way of dealing with the president than anyone else has in the past. But in there, it said that a number of the president's top advisors were quite upset. A number said that the president was quite upset with a number of his top advisors. And then it got down into the machinations of whether or not the president mentioned Gary Cohn's name during the rally in Phoenix. It had sort of these very esoteric moments. It almost felt like a recitation of complaints at a sorority house about how people didn't treat each other right. Is that really what the American people care about? Are the American people best served by journalists when we get down into those kinds of weeds, into that kind of inside politics?
Well, that degree of palace intrigue is mainly a fascination to, 500 journalists living inside the Beltway and maybe the political class as well. Certainly not average Americans who are a lot more concerned with health care and taxes. But the takeaway from that piece, and I've been waiting for it, is, okay, General Kelly comes in, he imposes a lot more order. How long before we read a piece saying President Trump is frustrated with him? And there is some suggestions in this piece that Trump doesn't enjoy all the order. He liked having old friends be able to stop by the Oval Office, or people pop in and out. He likes being surrounded by people. He's a people person. So it matters only in that the president can obviously overrule his general, John Kelly, and go back to the old system. But most people seem to think that the West Wing management was chaotic enough that this is a better system. Well,
we don't know whether the president read that piece this morning in the Washington Post, but he did tweet, General John Kelly is doing a great job as chief of staff. I could not be happier or more impressed, and this administration continues to get things done at a record clip. So that's the answer.
He read the piece.
Well, that's the interpretation, and the read from Howard Kurtz. A lot more on this on Media Buzz, sir.
Thanks, Leland.
Thanks. Molly?
The impact of Harvey being felt way beyond the states that storm actually hit in. Gas prices spiking across the country as high waters shut down refineries. Plus, recovery efforts begin in Texas, and it will be a costly experience for many. A live report on that process as people in Houston start to pick up the pieces.
Woo! Testing, testing! Is this thing on? Huh? Come on, your turn. Woo!
Where do pencils go on vacation?
Pennsylvania! Pennsylvania!
Frosted just right, crunch in every bite. Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats.
Joseph A. Bank celebrates Labor Day with up to 60% off almost everything. All Traveler and 1905 suits just $249. Dress shirts, sports shirts, shorts, and more only $29. Plus, take an extra 50% off all clearance items. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
Please, hold.
The running of the bold dogs? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Aaliyah saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Do you hate your full face mask? Tired of the severe pain and discomfort? Now you can eliminate the pain and torture of your CPAP mask and sleep in total comfort. Invented by an actual sleep apnea patient, this incredible product ends the need to use awful full face masks. And because it has no straps and no headgear, you'll be comfortable and get your best CPAP sleep ever. Go to nomask.com, NOMASK.com to end your nightly torture. That's nomask.com.
Attention, if you were born before 1958, listen closely. The CDC reports again that industrial and trade workers were exposed to deadly asbestos decades ago. As a result, people who began working in the 1970s are being diagnosed today with mesothelioma and other asbestos-related diseases. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, find out if you're eligible for compensation. Call Sokoloff Law at 1-800-712-1818. 1-800-712-1818. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
These are scary times. North Korea, ISIS, terrorism around the globe, even the threat of natural disasters. If you feel at risk, you're not alone. Protect your family for up to 25 years. Call Wise Food Storage and stock up on their easy-to-prepare foods that have a shelf life of up to 25 years. In a crisis, don't worry about what your family will eat. Get your free sample now. Call in the next 15 minutes and get your free survival guide. Call 800-880-3930.
I have spent years taking over-the-counter products for my belly pain and constipation. I've had it up to a year.
It's been month after month of fiber.
Weeks taking probiotics.
Days and nights of laxatives, only to have my symptoms return.
If you've had enough, tell your doctor what you've tried and how long you've been at it. Linzess works differently from laxatives. Linzess treats adults with IBS with constipation or chronic constipation. It can help relieve your belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements that are easier to pass. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Don't take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor about managing your symptoms proactively with Linzess.
We heard the president in the Oval Office just a little bit earlier talking about the National Day of Prayer on Sunday, but now President Trump is asking for nearly $6 billion, and that is just the start, to help Hurricane Harvey victims.
And as the waters start to recede in those flood-ravaged areas across the Gulf, we are starting to get a pretty good look at the storm's devastating impact and just how Washington plans to deal with it. Doug McElway is live from Washington with more on that. Doug.
Hi, Molly. There remain a lot of questions as the scale of damage is revealed whether Houston and coastal East Texas can ever fully recover. The comparisons to New Orleans after Katrina are being made every day, but the reality is there is little comparison. That's because the nation needs Houston like it needs few cities in the world.
The port in Houston is a very, very big deal. I mean, it accounts for $250 billion plus of economic activity across the state of Texas and beyond every year. Wow. And Texas itself is a big deal. I mean, almost 10% of U.S. economic output is coming from Texas. So when Houston goes out, which is about a third of Texas output, that's a really big deal across the country.
All the more reason why Congress, the White House, as well as state and local officials are planning to throw whatever is needed into Houston's recovery. Comparisons to New Orleans and Katrina may be misplaced. Former Louisiana Congressman Billy Tozan once bluntly expressed the uniqueness of Louisiana. Quote, half of Louisiana is underwater and the other half is under indictment. Louisiana's reputation for tolerating corruption, in the words of U.S. Attorney Jim Letton, drove many companies away and kept them away.
We'll not see that in Texas, both because the leadership, the community leadership, and the political leadership in Houston is far more effective, and the political culture in Texas is far more pro-market.
But Hurricane Harvey may be changing the entire agenda here in Washington.
I do not expect that President Trump is going to continue talking about a potential shutdown. I also think that a lot of Republicans will be eager to provide help alongside with Democrats.
DeRougy also adds that Harvey is a reminder of why it is so important to have smaller debt and smaller deficits to better handle emergencies like this when they come down the road. Molly, Leland, back to you.
All right, Doug, thank you very much. We will see how quickly that money can be dispersed. We appreciate it.
Yep.
And as Americans hit the road for the holiday weekend, everyone will see the effects of Harvey as they fill up their tanks. At least 2 major oil pipelines have been slowed or stopped because of flooding and damage from Harvey. A number of the refineries in the Gulf Coast are offline, too. According to AAA, the current national price for a gallon of gas is $2.52. That's up 17 cents from the average about a week ago. Phil Flynn, an oil trader, senior market analyst for the Price Futures Group, also a Fox Business Network contributor, joins us from the trading floor on what this means going forward. Phil, obviously, normally a trading floor on a Friday afternoon is a pretty quiet time before a holiday weekend. I can imagine this has changed things.
It really has. I mean, we have traders that are up all hours of the night watching the developments here, probably getting a few hours of sleep, because what happens in Houston, what happens in Port Arthur affects the world. Not only the U.S. economy, but really when you think about Houston, we think of Houston as the refinery to the entire world. You know, gas prices aren't only going up here in the United States, they're going up in places like Mexico, in Europe, all because of what's happening here. So it's critically important to really get these refineries and these pipelines back online as quickly as possible. And if they don't, of course, we're going to continue to feel the pain.
From a senior advisor to the president yesterday that he didn't know of any major damage to any refineries. Not that they weren't shut down, but that none were seriously damaged. What's the timeline on this to get these back up online and therefore get fuel flowing again?
Well, even in the worst hit refinery in the country, the biggest one in this country is in Port Arthur. With all the flooding there, you would think it would take months to get this back online. But that is such good news because that refinery was not damaged, so they are going to bring that refinery on back in 2 weeks. And that is a big deal. I mean, yesterday there was panic buying in gasoline in the futures market. At one point, the price of gasoline was up 28 cents a gallon. You know, today it's pulled back a little bit by about 6 cents a gallon. And some of that really is because of the good news we're getting on this. Also, waivers from the government on gasoline prices. And the Trump administration really has done some good things to try to calm the concerns of traders. For example, they released oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help refineries who can't get the oil in to get back up online sooner. They waived EPA requirements. You know, the summertime blends versus winter blends. Forget that stuff. Mix it all together, get it in the pipeline so the pipelines can get going. They also, of course, are going to allow even more ethanol in the gasoline that the refiners produce. So all of this is easing concerns, but we're not out of the woods yet. There's still a long road ahead of us. Wholesale prices say the prices still could go up, but some of the worst case scenarios aren't going to happen.
Well, already at least shortages in some parts of Texas, even anecdotal evidence out of places like Dallas that there are shortages as people are trying to stock up. Phil, appreciate your insights and hope you guys get a little bit of sleep there over the weekend.
You got it. We will try.
All right, Molly.
Some areas of southeast Texas, they are still underwater as rescues and evacuations still go on, still ahead. We will hear from an investigation that is coordinating thousands of volunteers in Houston and Dallas on recovery efforts from this unprecedented storm.
I just moved here to start a new life, and at the same time, I got to move again. My family, they are gone. Our house is definitely gone. Cars are gone. We don't know what we're going to do, but thank God for the shelters.
Marie Callender knows that a homemade turkey dinner can make anyone slow down and pull up a seat to the table. That's why she takes the time to season her turkey to perfection and make stuffing from scratch, so that you can spend time on what really matters. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
What are they doing? They're using automation to cut errors and build apps faster.
But why aren't they yelling? Yeah, where's all the chaos?
Yeah, the frustration. The anguish. It's a modern software factory. We don't really do anguish.
Got a postcard from the grandkids. They went to the Ark.
Yeah. What does it say?
Well, Annie says they had a blast and that it's really, really big.
Everything looks big to a 6-year-old.
Well, Hudson says it's even bigger than the castle.
Can't be that big. Can it? Go ahead. Think bigger.
Huh. Can't find my debit card.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, totally, it's fine. But, like, is it fine, though? Because I would maybe be worried. Really, really, really worried. Do you want me to go back and look for it? I will. I mean, a lot of bad things can happen. You need to call the bank. I don't know how else to tell you. You need to shut that card off. What?
I can turn it on and off in my Wells Fargo app.
I feel better already.
Good.
Stop everything. IHOP French toasted a donut. Yep, then added crispy bacon and delicious fruit. What the French toasted donut? It's unbelievable. Try it as a combo while it's available. IHOP, eat up every moment.
Binders, done. Super cool notebooks, done.
That's Mom taking care of business. Save on back to school now with the 25-cent event only at Office Depot Office Max. All this, just 25 cents each.
Taking care of business. I'm Ryan, and I quit smoking with Shantix. Everything I did circled around that cigarette. When I started taking the Shantix, that urge just slowly diminished, and it was a great and empowering feeling.
Along with support, Shantix Varenicline is proven to help people quit smoking.
Shantix reduced my urge to smoke.
When you try to quit smoking, with or without Shantix, you may have nicotine withdrawal symptoms. Some people had changes in behavior or thinking, aggression, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, or suicidal thoughts or actions with Shantix. Serious side effects may include seizures, new or worse heart or blood vessel problems, sleepwalking, or allergic and skin reactions, which can be life-threatening. Stop Shantix and get help right away if you have any of these. Tell your healthcare provider if you've had depression or other mental health problems. Decrease alcohol use while taking Shantix. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. The most common side effect is nausea.
I don't even think about cigarettes anymore.
Ask your doctor if Shantix is right for you. Many insurance plans cover Shantix for a low or $0 copay.
A Fox News alert, President Trump pledging a personal donation of $1 million to the relief effort to help those affected in Texas and Louisiana, as he calls for billions more in federal funds for victims of this unprecedented disaster. And as he prepares to return to Southeast Texas tomorrow, the governor says it will take years to recover from this catastrophe. Joining us now by phone, Jody Harrington-Geddes. She's the Vice President of U.S. Disaster Relief for Operation Blessing International. That's an organization helping to coordinate thousands of volunteers there in Houston and Dallas. And we're hearing that you have made it to Rockport. That is one of the communities that was hardest hit. They received the brunt of this storm right at the beginning. That Cat 4 hit there. What are you seeing on the ground, and how are you helping, Jody?
Thanks for having us, Molly. We have a volunteer base of operations set up in Rockport, and that area is just absolutely devastated. I mean, what you would think of as Category 3, Category 4 damages, homes completely off foundations. Some homes look like a bomb went off. Other homes, roofs of the homes are laying on the ground. But the biggest thing that really captures our heart is that the people are in shock. They've lost everything. And one lady returned home, and she looked at me in my eyes, and she was eyes full of tears, and she says, "My home is gone."
You know,
it
Jody,
disappeared.
I know that you must be seeing the most heartbreaking things. We're just going to pause your interview for one moment. Stay with us and listen in. The president receiving a briefing on Harvey.
Sunday, Saturday. Latest will be Monday.
Thanks, everyone.
Great feeling for DACA.
I think it's illegal.
Excuse me?
DACA is illegal. Is that your
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But we'll be making a request, absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
For the state of Texas, yes. And Louisiana. And tomorrow I'm going to Louisiana with the First Lady and Texas. It'll be Texas, Louisiana. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So that just moments ago from the White House, the president talking about his plans. He'll be traveling there to the disaster area, back to Texas. He mentioned Louisiana there just a moment ago to get an eye on the ground. And Jody, you're talking about some of these stories that you're seeing there in Rockport, this hardest hit area. What does it take to help people recover?
Well, obviously it takes financial support, but it also takes human resources. So we're going to need volunteers. There's a long road of recovery. But not only are we in Rockport, my team is in Rockport, but I'm actually in Beaumont in East Texas. Our teams had to drive through high water to get here, but it was a desperate situation, and we wanted to get resources into the area. And so as of last night, we had semi-trucks of food and personal hygiene items and drinks coming into a church that had to open their doors to shelter people that were being rescued. And last night, we opened up a distribution at 5 o'clock, and we had hundreds of cars just lined up for food, drinks, just personal hygiene items, the basics. So Operation Blessing is on the ground in Rockport, in Beaumont, and then we're also sending relief supplies and financial support to pastors and churches in Rockport, Corpus Christi, Victoria, Taft, Beaumont, Nederland, Lamarck. I mean, this disaster is huge, Molly. As you know, you're seeing it unfolding, and the sad thing is we're a week out, and it is still unfolding. There's still rescues being made, and East Texas is really suffering right now.
What are the greatest challenges when you have these thousands of people that want to come out and help? How do you coordinate that?
Yeah, I think some of the greatest challenges is just even being able to get into the area safely. And I know people are watching and they're ready to just jump in their cars and come down here and help. And if you want to do that, feel free to go to our Rockport location. But in Beaumont and in East Texas, we'll be receiving volunteers from out of town. But right now, we're just trying to get the basic necessities on the ground and keep people safe here in Beaumont. So, again, there'll be time to come to East Texas, but we need your prayers, and we just need just to wait patiently as we get ready to ramp up those volunteer opportunities to come in and help people with their work on their homes. We will be doing that. We will be providing lodging. We'll take care of your logistics, but just give the emergency management and everybody here time to set up for that. But this church that I'm at is a huge distribution site.
All right. Jody Harrington-Geddes, we really appreciate you sharing the information, your view on the ground there for Operation Blessing. And our viewers can see there on the bottom of the screen, it says go to foxnews.com. There are multiple ways there once you reach our website that can direct you to how you can help with this disaster overall. You know, it's going to take a lot to recover. Let's listen in again there. The White House just earlier this hour, we're listening to the president receive his briefing on Harvey.
Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. The First Lady and I are pleased to welcome Gail McGovern of the American Red Cross, David Hudson of the Salvation Army, and Kevin Easel of Southern Baptist Disaster Relief. These people have been absolutely incredible in what they've done. We'd like to thank them and their staff and volunteers for the incredible work they're doing and in helping people affected by Hurricane Harvey. Sounds like a very innocent name, but it's not an innocent hurricane, that I can tell you. It's of epic proportion. These organizations and the many other nonprofits involved represent the generosity, determination, and unbreakable spirit of the American people. And Mike Pence was there yesterday and represented this country so well in the love and the care. And I had so many just great comments about your visit, so I appreciate it. Thank you. When a disaster strikes, they work to help others in the time of need, which was over the last week, believe me. They've already provided tens of thousands of displaced Gulf Coast residents with meals, water, shelter, fresh blankets, and clean clothing. When one American suffers, and I say this quite a bit, and especially lately when you see what's going on, we all suffer. We're one American family brought together in times of tragedy by the unbreakable bonds of love and loyalty that we have for one another. And there is a great love and a great loyalty in this country, and I think we've all seen it, maybe more so than ever before over the last 4 days. So I think we really have seen it. Nowhere is our unity more evident than in the actions of our volunteer and charitable organizations that rally to their neighbors' aid when disaster strikes. The people of Texas and Louisiana were hit very hard by a historic flood. In their response, they have taught us all a lesson, a very, very powerful lesson. There was no outbreak in crime. There was an outbreak of compassion only, real, beautiful, strong compassion. And they've really inspired us as a nation. To be honest, they've inspired the world because the world is watching. We're pleased to receive an update from Gail, David, and Kevin on the work of the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and the Southern Baptist Disaster Relief. The federal government is on the ground bringing in significant resources to bear, and I want to assure these organizations and the others involved that we will continue to coordinate with them and bring all of the relief and the comfort and everything else that we absolutely can to the Gulf Coast. And I want to also thank the governor and lieutenant governor of Texas. They have been outstanding. Just the coordination and the level of relationship has been, I think, pretty much unprecedented. So I just want to thank them. I want to thank all of the folks working on the ground for the administration. Tom Bossart's here today. Tom, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Every American heart is with the people of Texas and Louisiana. They're strong and resilient, and they have really overcome, and we're in the process of just about where I can say overcome this horrible devastation. Now it's going back to work, but the Coast Guard in particular, I have to also thank. They saved probably thousands of lives. We were just talking about it, going onto seas that very few people would want to be on in the worst of times, and they were saving a lot of people out there. Together, we will help them all recover from this tragedy. We'll renew our hope in community, and we'll renew our hope and rebuild those homes and businesses and schools and places of worship with a strength and vigor that comes from the love within our souls. And I just authorized and signed a proclamation for prayer, and we're going to have on Sunday a prayer Sunday. And Mike, that was something that was very special, just took place. So I think it's going to be something to see and to witness. It's been a long time, and our country deserves it, frankly. I want to thank my wife, Melania, the First Lady. She's been so involved in this and helping so much, and so I want to thank you. Would you like to say a few words to start off?
It's great to be here with an amazing people, and I want to thank all the volunteers all across the country that came to help to Texas, and fantastic job. And we are going tomorrow to visit them, and I just want to tell them to be strong, and everything will be okay on the end of.
See, I didn't tell her I was going to do that, Steve, and she did a great job. But she really has. She's been so dedicated to this. This has very much affected her. What's happened in Texas and neighboring states, frankly. So I want to thank you, First Lady. Thank you. Salvation Army.
Yes, well, we're first of all very appreciative of this opportunity and appreciative of our partners in service. We are working hand in hand with groups like the Red Cross, where they provide shelter for people, and we're able to provide meals. And even though we're limited in being able to get in to a lot of the impacted areas, we've already served hundreds of thousands of meals, and literally millions of meals will be served. And we can only do this as we partner together. And as I've told my co-workers, this is a time that we're all Texans, and no matter where you're from, we're all about serving Americans in need. And I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, the Red Cross, and the Baptist, and all the other agencies that partner with us. Together, we can make a difference.
Thank you very much. Very nice. Southern Baptist.
We're three different organizations, but we work best as one. And the joy of this is we really do lock arms and have the capacity to feed over 400,000 people a day. And Mr. President, thank you for FEMA. They've been incredible through this. We've gone through many disasters. Absolutely. And they've done just a fantastic job of stepping to the plate and being prepared and allowing us to volunteer in the way we're prepared to do.
Well, I think we should thank Brock Long and all of the people at FEMA and the people at Homeland, and I have to say General Kelly, who's been so much involved. As you know, he just left and he's now in the White House, but his spirit and everything else that's been involved over the last few weeks getting ready, because really this has been probably now almost 2 weeks since we felt it was probably going to hit that area. But General Kelly has done a fantastic job, and Elaine Duke, has been terrific. So I want to thank all of our folks. Tell me, Red Cross, how are we doing?
So first of all, our hearts go out to the people of Texas, and on behalf of the entire American Red Cross, so many people have lost everything and presented in our shelters with just the clothes on their back. I visited one of the shelters outside of Austin, and it housed about 200 people, and I had the opportunity to talk to all the families, everyone from a 6-month-old baby to a 6'8" man, and everybody in between. And you heard stories of heartbreak and heartache, but the one thing that I have seen in the 9 years that I've been with the American Red Cross is the incredible resiliency of the American people. Sure. They are bound and determined to build back. and there are about 40,000 people in our shelters right now across the state of Texas. And our volunteers are pouring in, giving them comfort, hope. We've served about 390,000 meals and snacks. And the incredible thing is our partners are there. They are getting hot meals into our hands so that we can serve them. Government has just been phenomenal. I mean, when we had a hard time getting our volunteers in, the city gave us dump trucks so we can get volunteers and cots in. Department of Defense gave us high water vehicles, 20 of them, so we could break in and bring needed supplies. So I'm just so appreciative of the teamwork. I'm appreciative of your support. And again, our hearts go out to the people of Texas.
Thank you very much, Gail.
We've just been watching the last couple of moments here. The president receiving a briefing there. He's also joined by representatives from the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the Southern Baptist Disaster Relief Organization, each offering praise to the other, how things are going, also offering praise for the federal government, to FEMA, and to the disaster relief underway. Also joined, you can see there, by the Vice President and the First Lady, Melania, who talked about the amazing people and thanked the volunteers that have shown up down in Texas and across the country, and said that everything will be okay.
A lot of news this weekend. President Trump heads to Houston on Saturday with the First Lady, also heading over to Louisiana, also expecting info on the Dreamers Act. America's News headquarters starts right now.
You're listening live now. We're going to go back to the White House, listening to Vice President Mike Pence, who is now commenting on a rescue effort still ongoing in Texas. Let's listen.
While the federal government is going to be there at your direction, we'll be seeking resources from the Congress to make sure that disaster relief is available for individuals and businesses. Literally, the work of meeting people's human needs each and every day will take all of us. And these volunteer organizations need resources and they need people. And I would just add, Mr. President, that anyone looking on can go to nvoad.org. It's our website where all these organizations are listed. People can find out how they can be supportive of national volunteer organizations that at this very hour and for weeks and months ahead will be coming alongside families as they rebuild their lives.
That's great. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. This is just some of the locations that over a very short period of time they and others have managed to go to. Some of these locations, as you know very well, some of the press has been there, and I will say they are devastated. 2 days ago, there was water like nobody's ever seen before. I guess in the history of our country, we've never had an amount of water like we've had. And yet, you were able to occupy all of these different locations and take care of people, you and the others. So we want to just thank you. That's really a special, special job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Gail. Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
President, do you think DACA is illegal? Do you think DACA
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, you have been listening live to an update on Harvey from the president, as well as you just heard from the vice president just a few moments ago. What we heard just now. Every American heart is with the people of Louisiana and Texas. Thousands of lives have been saved. A thank you to the first responders, as well as Brock Long of FEMA. The president saying we continue to pray for all of those involved. We are working on emergency funding now. Let's listen.
For the state of Texas, yes. And Louisiana. And tomorrow I'm going to Louisiana with the First Lady and Texas. It'll be Texas, Louisiana. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, and that you just heard the president confirming what he had just announced, which we were anticipating another visit by the president to the region to assess the damage and to meet with victims. He's confirming he and the First Lady will be making another trip to both Texas and Louisiana tomorrow on Saturday over the holiday weekend. And he also announced just a few moments ago that Sunday will be declared a day of prayer for all the victims involved with Harvey. The president providing that update on Harvey just a few moments ago, and again saying he is working on funding now. All right, Fox News alert for you. A mandatory evacuation has just been ordered for a town south of Houston. 1 week after Harvey first made landfall, people in Lake Jackson, Texas, ordered to get out of their homes now. More on this as we get it. The waters around southeast Texas are still rising in some areas, with search and rescue efforts in high gear in many areas. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith. The Brazos River cresting just a short time ago, well above record levels, flooding hundreds of square miles southwest of Houston. This as some officials now begin turning their attention from rescue to recovery. Helicopters previously used to airlift people from the floods now being deployed to bring in vital food and supplies. We have Fox team coverage on all of this. Matt Finn is standing by in Wharton, Texas, but we begin first with Peter Ducey, who rode along with a Customs and Border Patrol helicopter unit. Peter, it was unbelievable, that footage that you brought to us earlier of even some of the refineries that have been affected by all this. But the absence of people still is what stuck with all of us the most.
Yeah, Sam, in Port Arthur especially, there's very, very high water and very, very little activity. The place has been basically completely deserted. Entire neighborhoods still blocked. Cars are either submerged on the street or abandoned by the side of the road. And the way that the major thoroughfares appear to be blocked, it would be hard to even launch a boat if somebody wanted to do that to get home. So people can't get home. And much of the landscape at the refinery near Port Arthur is still underwater as well. That refinery is shut down, which means they can't refine oil, which affects supply. That affects prices, makes them go up. It is something that people outside Texas are already noticing. Something else that we did notice from the air, people returning to their homes in places the water has receded, beginning to remove wet or warped or moldy belongings from their homes and take them out to the curb to be disposed. There were huge piles of couches, mattresses, clothes, anything else that you could think of that is not waterproof, and people were taking inventory of what can be saved and what can't. That is the next step for Harvey recovery. Something else that we're noticing, another move forward in the process of recovering from the storm, the law enforcement missions have changed. This helicopter is one of the CBP AMO, Air and Marine Operations units, that was initially used to pull people out of the water to take them to dry land. Then it was used to drop off food downtown in Houston near the convention center when the roads were blocked. And now they're going to start to use it as a show of force in really wet areas that police vehicles cannot get to on the ground to try to deter looters. Obviously, looting has not been a widespread, enormous problem yet, but they're going to take units like this one out just to show people in the neighborhoods where there is still really high water, where it's inaccessible, that if they try anything, there are going to be officers heavily armed on the ground with handcuffs in about a minute. Sandra.
Yeah. Peter Ducey, thank you. Dramatic images also coming in of water rescues happening across Texas. Swollen rivers overflowing as runoff from the rain-soaked region makes its way to the Gulf. Matt Finn right now is in Wharton, Texas, where crews from around the country are searching for anyone else out there who possibly still needs help. Matt?
Sandra, Wharton, Texas is about an hour-and-a-half drive south of Houston. It's being referred to as the bathtub of Texas because all of the water in Houston and all of that spillover from the reservoirs that we have been reporting on is making its way down here. And as you could see me, this entire town is severely flooded. The waters rose very rapidly overnight. So now we are with FEMA in a high-profile military truck, and they're basically doing a survey, driving around the small town, marking houses where people or pets need to be recovered. A short while ago, we saw 2 pets stranded on a porch, without food and water. There was another pet jumping into the water, trying to make it to dry land. So these rescuers from around the country right now are marking the spots that have pets or people that need to be rescued, and then they're going to come back with whatever it takes, chopper, boat, anything else to get to them. And of course, if there's a person who immediately needs to be rescued, these guys are going to jump out. I want to quickly introduce you to Chris from LA Fire, correct? Chris, so what happens with these pets that we just saw? And if you guys see a person on a roof or something, what happens from here?
Well, obviously people, if anyone needs help out of here, we're going to get them immediately. As far as the pets, we're marking them with our GPS right here, and then we're going to send in additional resources, whether it's a boat or another high-profile military vehicle to take care of them and come and get them out later on.
Chris, thank you very much for your service. Sandra, we're heading into nearly a week since Harvey made landfall, and as you can see behind me, the rescues, the recoveries are still happening. The devastation from the storm is just not over yet. Sandra, back to you.
Matt, as we heard from Governor Abbott just a short time ago, confirming they are still in life-saving mode down there. Thank you so much to those first responders that are with you right now. Matt Finn, thank you. At least some relief is beginning to roll in for Beaumont, Texas, as that city struggles to fix its disabled water system. Emergency responders setting up a water giveaway point that will distribute clean bottled water to anyone that needs it. The lack of clean water forced a hospital to close and evacuate all of its nearly 200 patients yesterday, as we brought to you in this hour. Texas Congressman Brian Babbitt represents part of the Beaumont area. He himself was trapped in his home during the flooding. Congressman joins us now. Congressman, first of all, how are you and your family doing?
Oh, we're doing fine, Sandra. We were trapped for a few hours, and that we were never in any danger. The waters receded. I explained that to the interviewer on CNN, and sure enough, about five hours later, they receded enough. I got out and was able to visit some of my surrounding shelters and help the folks out here. And we were never in any danger, Sandra, but we were definitely in our house, though. We couldn't leave until the waters went down.
Well, you are better off than some, if not many, most in your community, considering the water supplies. The main and the secondary water supplies have failed. It was during this hour yesterday that we saw the medical personnel and military personnel lifting people one by one out of that hospital, patients in need of care, because there was no clean water. What is the situation there now with that, Congressman?
Well, the situation is that we're trying to get water into them. There are supplies of water that are out there. It's just a logistical problem, and I think we're going to get this thing worked out. We're in contact with the governor's people and the emergency management people for the state, who then coordinated with our counties. And so that's what's happening now. We do, like, for instance, Beaumont is not in my district. It borders on my district, and it is my hometown, by the way. But I have 9 counties that surround Jefferson County, which is Beaumont and Port Arthur, and we were just whacked by this storm. Wow. Unbelievable amounts of rain fell, and now we're still in the process of rescuing folks in certain pockets of several counties, and then as soon as this happens, we're going to get a real nice FEMA package, a supplemental bill that's going to kind of infuse some money into FEMA, which doesn't have the funds to do so, the things they need to do until we get this package to them. And then we're going to be working overtime to get the help needed.
Yes.
All these people in Southeast Texas.
Our thoughts and our prayers continue to be with them. In fact, the president just confirming Sunday will be a national day of prayer for all the victims involved in this. Congressman and the First Lady and the president headed that way to both Texas and Louisiana on Saturday. Congressman
Absolutely.
Babin, thank you for joining us. Yes, last word to you.
You bet. I just wanted to say that not only is the federal government going to help, but we are seeing contributions from all over this country. And I would urge Americans out there to give to their favorite charities, Red Cross, Salvation Army, Samaritan's Purse, or your local church or synagogue, your employers that match their employees' relief contributions. These are coming in, and we really, really appreciate America's helping Texans, and can't thank them enough.
Congressman Babin, thanks for jumping on with us, and happy to hear you and your family are safe. All right, well, a setback for a Democratic senator facing federal corruption charges, why a judge says he will not stop Robert Menendez's trial to let him cast Senate votes. Plus, we are awaiting a White House press briefing set to start within the hour when President Trump says he could make a decision on the DACA program.
When do we want it?
The joy of real cream in 15 calories per serving. Enough said. Reddi-wip. Share the joy.
Patrick woke up with back pain, but he has work to do, so he took a leave. If he'd taken Tylenol, he'd be stopping for more pills right now. Only Aleve has the strength to stop tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Aleve, all day strong.
Things are busy at Mom Inc. As Chief Everything Officer, Lynn Smith gets ready to launch the school year.
Binders, done. Super cool notebooks, done. Laptop setup, done.
That's Mom taking care of business. But who takes care of Mom? Office Depot Office Max. During our Taking Care of Back to School sale, order online and pick up in store in just 1 hour. And she's off to another important business meeting. Office Depot Office Max.
Taking care of business.
Fitting into my skinny jeans again? That's cool.
Feeling good in slim fit? That's cool.
Looking fabulous in my little black dress? That's cool.
Getting the body you want without surgery, needles, or downtime? That's Cool Sculpting. Cool Sculpting is the only FDA-cleared, non-invasive treatment that targets and freezes away stubborn fat cells. Visit CoolSculpting.com today and register for a chance to win a free treatment.
Dear Brian and Liz, my favorite part about being an insurance agent is working with people like you. Over the years, I've watched your passion grow into a successful business. It's clear why your family, your nursery, and the things you care about are so valuable. It's why I recommended the Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Thank you for your trust and letting me be part of this journey. Take care. David.
The Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Everything insurance should be.
Introducing Lean 13 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 13 pounds in your first month, guaranteed.
Lose up to 13 pounds fast with the new Lean 13 from Nutrisystem.
Your 13. Right away. Count, measure, meetings? No, not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now and we'll rush you Lean 13. Get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of new NutriCrush bars to crush cravings free. And 1 week of turbo shakes to bust belly bloat free.
Bye-bye, stubborn belly fat.
Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall your first month.
Your first 13 pounds? Gone.
Go online or call 888-828-THIN right now and get new Lean 13 with bars and shakes free.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7 at Channel 115.
A Fox News alert. We're minutes away now from today's White House press briefing as President Trump gets ready for another visit to flood-ravaged Texas this weekend. The president getting an update just a few moments ago on Harvey recovery efforts. It comes as the White House is expected to make a decision about the so-called Dreamers program within the next few days. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is live on the North Lawn. John?
Sandra, good afternoon to you. And the president and the first lady will be heading to Texas again tomorrow. This will be the second time in a week that the president has gone down there. Likely, though the itinerary has not been totally firmed up, that he'll visit Houston and then Lake Charles, Louisiana. The president didn't have an opportunity to meet with Hurricane Harvey victims firsthand when he flew down there on Tuesday. The reason is that there weren't a lot in the area where he was. And then he couldn't go to Houston because that just would have been too disruptive. So the president hoping to meet with some folks in person and listen to some of their stories. A short time ago in the Oval Office, the president signing a national declaration of a national day of prayer on Sunday, in part for hurricane victims. Listen here.
Individuals of every background are striving for the same goal, to aid and comfort people facing devastating losses. As Americans, we know that no challenge is too great for us to overcome. No challenge.
And the White House in conversations with Congress about an initial tranche of relief money for victims of Hurricane Harvey. We understand that they pretty much have a deal in place on an initial $5.5 billion that will go to replenish the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund, and another $450 million that will go to the Small Business Administration's Disaster Relief Fund. So the money already flowing, Sandra, down to people in those hard-hit areas of Texas, and then tens of billions of dollars more to come over the long haul.
Acting quickly. John, and when will the president make this decision on DACA?
Well, it's kind of been a moving target over the last few hours. I was told a couple of hours ago that there would be no decision on DACA today, and then the president came out and talked in the Oval Office and said, well, maybe this afternoon, maybe over the weekend, and then he nailed it down a little more firmly just a short time ago, again in another Oval Office appearance. Listen here.
We'll be releasing on DACA sometime over the weekend, probably Sunday, Saturday. Latest will be Monday.
There you go. Probably Saturday, Sunday, or maybe sometime on Monday. The president's got to do something before Tuesday. That's when a coalition of states numbering 10 are planning on filing suit against him to have him stop DACA. Texas is leading the charge, and the attorney general of that state, Ken Paxton, said yesterday that he is going to go ahead with that deadline hard and fast on Tuesday, though an attorney general from one other state that I talked to said that their state would be amenable to maybe sliding that deadline a little bit if it looked like they could come to some sort of an agreement on a process forward that would pass constitutional muster. And that would mean, Sandra, for all of this to go up to Congress. And there is increasing momentum now, particularly among some conservative members of Congress, like Tom Tillis of North Carolina, to have Congress address the fate of the Dreamers. Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona also weighing in, saying that in recent hours, saying that Congress has to get on this and do something about it.
All right, so that decision on DACA could come as soon as tomorrow, I think, is what everybody's saying, and won't be any later than Monday.
Till Sunday or Monday, but yeah, definitely looks like before Tuesday.
All right, John Roberts, thank you. We are waiting to hear from Texas Governor Abbott. He may be stepping up to speak at any moment now. When he does, we will bring that to you live when he begins. On recovery efforts, we should expect to hear some sort of updates on recovery and rescue efforts just about 1 week now after Harvey made landfall. Plus, President Trump saying a decision about the DACA program could come as early as tomorrow, as you just heard. And why House Speaker Paul Ryan is pushing for a legislative solution to the issue.
Let's dance, Grandma.
You don't let anything keep you sidelined.
Come on.
That's why you drink Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals for the strength and energy to get back to doing what you love. Ensure, always be you.
At Planters, we put fresh roasted flavor into every can, which has its drawbacks. Guys, know anything about this missing inventory? Wasn't me. The cheeks don't lie, chat. Irresistibly Planters.
You always pay your insurance on time. Tap one little bumper and up go your rates. What good is having insurance if you get punished for using it? Newsflash, nobody's perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Switch and you could save $782 on home and auto insurance. Call 1-888-709-2166 for a free quote today. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
It's time for the biggest sale of the year with the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It senses your every move and automatically adjusts on both sides to keep you effortlessly comfortable. And snoring? Does your bed do that? The new 360 smart bed is part of our biggest sale of the year where all beds are on sale. And right now, save 50% on the Labor Day limited edition bed plus 36-month financing. Ends Monday.
This is our summer vacation. This is our day at the beach. This is how we cool off. And this is the new 2018 Acura TLX. Hurry to the Acura Summer Performance event for some of the most exciting offers of the year.
Lease the 2018 Acura TLX for $329 a month for well-qualified customers. Don't miss this event going on now.
Homes, businesses, our economy. We look at the real financial impact of Harvey. Watch a special Cost of Freedom Saturday.
Not gonna happen.
That's it. I'm calling Kohler about their walk-in bath.
My name is Ken. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm calling about Kohler's walk-in bath.
Excellent. Happy to help. Huh? Hold one moment, please. The Kohler walk-in bath features an extra wide opening and a low step-in at 3 inches, which is 25 to 60% lower than some leading competitors. The bath fills and drains quickly, while the heated seat soothes your back, neck, and shoulders. Kohler is an expert in bathing, so you can count on a deep soaking experience.
Are you seeing this?
The Kohler walk-in bath comes with fully adjustable hydrotherapy jets and our exclusive bubble massage. Everything is installed in as little as a day by a Kohler certified installer. And it's made by Kohler, America's leading plumbing brand.
We need this bath.
Yes. Yes, you do. A Kohler walk-in bath provides independence with peace of mind. Call 1-800-753-4291 for a $50 gift card with consultation, or visit KohlerWalkinBath.com for more info.
Well, I mean, just right off the bat, right now, my heart is like sunk. I don't feel any emotions. I've been dealing with this for weeks now, and the uncertainty is it's killing me at this point.
I feel that America is my life. America is my home. America has given me many opportunities, and it's all I know. I came here when I was a 1-year-old, and my future is here.
So-called dreamers you're hearing from reacting to President Trump's expected decision on the DACA program. The Obama-era executive order protects some illegal immigrants from deportation if they were brought to the U.S. as children. President Trump promising during the campaign to scrap the program. But House Speaker Paul Ryan made the case for a compromise today, saying this: President Obama does not have the authority to do what he did. Having said all of that, there are people who are in limbo. These are kids who know no other country, who were brought here by their parents and don't know another home. And so I really do believe there needs to be a legislative solution. Joining me now is Bree Payton, staff writer for The Federalist, and Marjorie Clifton, former consultant to the Obama campaign and the principal for Clifton Consulting. Marjorie, I want your thoughts first on Paul Ryan's suggestion there.
Gosh, it's a glorious one. It's actually refreshing, especially in these times, to hear rising above policy and moving to humanity. And, Republicans and Democrats alike agree that it is inhumane to treat children, especially in this kind of situation. And we're talking about 800,000 children who've been brought here, people that have been brought here as children, who've grown up as Americans, and talking about revoking their immigration status here in the U.S. So I think, again, we have to set aside opinions about how Obama handled it and find a bipartisan way to look at policies that will frankly make this a pathway for these kids long term.
Bree, what did you make of that suggestion of a compromise from Paul Ryan?
Yeah, well, I think the fact is that you can't fix something that President Obama just made out of thin air. And you know what? I'm so glad that we are talking about all of these children that are victims in this situation, because what often gets neglected or ignored are the tens of thousands of children who were brought here under the auspices of DACA who are now missing and are likely exploited. A Senate investigation a couple years ago found that many of the children who the government was supposed to keep track of, placed in foster homes or placed with relatives, simply went missing or were found working in very hard conditions in migrant farm camps. So that's something that often gets ignored. These children are being brought here and they're being lost, and it's likely that they're being sold into sex slavery or harsh migrant labor conditions.
So we're left with the question, what does the president do? And Marjorie, we know that we've heard from President Trump on multiple occasions say this is a very difficult decision for him. As you just heard from John Robertson, the president himself, that decision could come tomorrow, it could come Sunday, it could come Monday. But as far as the vice president and him sort of giving some guidance as to where the president is going, this is what the vice president, Mike Pence, said to ABC just a little while ago. Listen.
Well, President Trump has said all along that he's giving very careful consideration to that issue, and that when he makes his decision, he'll make it, as he likes to say, with big heart. And I know that he will, John.
So, Bree, that was the vice president on the ground yesterday in Texas answering questions about this. So which way does President Trump end up going?
Yeah, I mean, I think he owes it to all of the people who voted for him, who he promised repeatedly he would get rid of this bad law that's resulted in tens of thousands of children who have gone missing and have been exploited. I mean, at the end of the day, this program that President Obama created is so emblematic of solutions that Democrats like to come up with when it comes to immigration. They like to give people for just enough freedom in order to keep them here and keep them beholden to them and keep them to continue to vote for them, instead of actually liberate them and actually grant them citizenship and actually come up with a solution.
Marjorie?
The reason immigration policy matters is that so people are protected. And again, these are kids that have no place to go after here. They're going to be here in the country. And if you see in Houston, the reason that the mayor had to come out and say, regardless of your immigration status, we want to know where you are, it illustrates perfectly why immigration policy is so fundamental. Because people are staying, but they would rather drown than get picked up by the police and sent back to their home country. The timing of this is terrible. If the president is smart, he needs to defer any conversation about this, uphold the current policy, allow us to get through this disaster. And Texas, which holds 120,000 of these kids that would be impacted by DACA, now is not the time.
All right. Well,
so,
as you
again,
heard from some of those DACA recipients, right as we led in, that uncertainty is killing many of them. So that decision we do expect sometime in the next several days. Thanks to both of you for coming on to discuss that. All right. Well, President Trump heading back to Texas tomorrow to get a firsthand look at flooding around the Houston area. Meanwhile, the city is issuing new evacuation orders in some areas. Details on that straight ahead. Plus, the U.S. military on the move, thousands of troops spreading out across the flood zone, bringing much needed help.
Every crew member comes to me and expresses their concern over the people in the affected area, and they just want to go do what they can do to go help.
With my moderate to severe Crohn's disease, I was always searching for ways to manage my symptoms. I thought I had it covered. Then I realized managing was all I was doing. When I finally told my doctor, he said Humira was for people like me, who've tried other medications but still experience the symptoms of moderate to severe Crohn's disease. In clinical studies, the majority of patients on Humira saw significant symptom relief, and many achieved remission.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
If you're still just managing your symptoms, ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
Joseph A. Bank celebrates Labor Day with up to 60% off almost everything. All Traveler and 1905 suits just $249. Dress shirts, sports shirts, shorts, and more only $29. Plus take an extra 50% off all clearance items. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
The Paw Patrol always uses the right tools for the job. Gear up for your next adventure at VisionWorks, so your eyes have the right tools too. Right now, 2 pairs of glasses for kids are just $99 at VisionWorks.
Any last words?
Karma, Danny. Karma!
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
This is a ClassAction.com alert. Do you have type 2 diabetes and take Invokana? Invokana may cause diabetic ketoacidosis, kidney failure, and even death. Many people are alleging that the drug company failed them and should be held responsible. If you took Invokana and were hospitalized, visit ClassAction.com or call us now, 800-888-1234. ClassAction.com. Information, protection, justice.
These are scary times. North Korea, ISIS, terrorism around the globe, even the threat of natural disasters. If you feel at risk, you're not alone. Protect your family for up to 25 years. Call Wise Food Storage and stock up on their easy-to-prepare foods that have a shelf life of up to 25 years. In a crisis, don't worry about what your family will eat. Get your free sample now. Call in the next 15 minutes and get your free survival guide. Call 800-880-3930.
As As floodwaters move towards the Gulf, some people south of Houston are just now being evacuated from their homes, a week after Harvey first made landfall. For many others, the cleanup is only just beginning. Folks are now returning to their homes for the first time as floodwaters begin to recede. And estimates for the cost of the damage there are now topping about $190 billion, a full 1% of the entire nation's GDP. And keep in mind, the threat is still not over. Houston's mayor issuing voluntary evacuation orders to parts of the city just a short time ago. Doug Luzader is live in Houston, where things continue to change. Doug?
And Sandra, yeah, that's right. They are changing, and not for the better for the residents of some of these communities. This is the western part of Houston. These homeowners no doubt hoped that this water would begin to recede over the next couple of days. They've received some disturbing news today from Mayor Sylvester Turner. He says the Army Corps of Engineers needs to do another controlled release from a reservoir to avoid what he says could be a possible catastrophe in the event of another rainfall, which means, he says, that the water is going to remain here for 2 weeks plus, perhaps. So he's urging people to get out if they haven't left already. And the mayor was pretty forceful about it today.
If you are living in houses with water in areas to the west of Augusta, if you're living in houses with water, you have water currently in your home, I'm going to encourage you in the strongest of terms to leave your homes.
Yeah, the strongest of terms, and he says if people don't comply,